back at the Coast2Coast studios in San Diego, which I think we all know is really just my office, but that's okay. We have one final show here, episode 78, to recap the Midwest Gaming Classic. I'm glad you're joining us. Let's go. Welcome to Coast2Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is a podcast and commentary, and I am a man out of quarters. How are you? It's Thursday night, April 17th. Hope you all did your taxes this week, or plenty time before that. So, back in San Diego, and been working, been kind of decompressing from a big long trip out on the East Coast, followed by an excellent weekend at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I met a lot of great people. I met a lot of listeners. Definitely hello to all of you that found me and said hello. I really appreciate it. Dan, Mark, the crew at the Midwest Gaming Classic, they ran a top-notch show. I've had some emails asking me what I thought overall. Is it worth it as a pinball player? Yada yada. Video versus pinball. What I will tell you now that I've had a moment to step back. The Midwest Gaming Classic is not your average pinball show. It is certainly not your average video game show. Not that I know what a video game show is really like, but I can guarantee you this is not your average video game show. It's really, it's named properly. It's a gaming show, the Gaming Classic. That's true. I think they ended up with roughly 300 games on display to play, spanning arcade and pinball. And then they also had tons of console games, like, Ataris and Nintendos and PlayStations set up to play a game. I counted, at one point, 146 pinball machines. And I think the count ended up, and their final tally was somewhere over 151, not counting a couple of the vendors who brought games. That's pretty healthy. That's a lot of games. There was a definite spread of games. We had some EMs. We had some brand new out-of-the-box Mustang Metallicas, yeah, lots of new Stern games. Definitely, there's 3 Wizard of Oz machines. We had some boutique builders. Obviously, we've done some interviews and stuff with the Spooky Pinball crew. Predator was there. Skit B. John Papaduke brought his prototype Kiss concept machine, which was not really a machine as much as it was literally a concept. It was not playable. It was foam core. Looked fantastic. And they had the vendor hall with lots of video games to buy and trade, and a couple pinball parts distributors. I think Pinball Life was there, and a few others selling parts. This episode of Coast2Coast Pinball, episode 78, is on the heels of 77, which, if you listen to, was the full-length audio of the State of the Silverball forum that I hosted. If you haven't listened, go back and listen. It's awesome. It's really great. You have just a awesome group of people. It was interesting hosting that. That was really the impetus for me getting up and going to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Is I got an invite, to ask if I wanted to be a part of it and possibly host that. And they didn't even know who the forum would be at first when I was asked, and I said yes, of course, I'll do it. It'll be fun. So as we got closer to the show and the names started, solidifying, and it was, Steve Ritchie and John Papaduke and John Trudeau and Greg Ferris, and this awesome panel of people, and mixed with some of the up and coming guys in the industry, Spooky Pinball guys, Ben and Charlie, Skitby with Kevin, and Stern's latest hire programmer Tanya Kleiss. It was pretty crazy. I had asked on the Facebook page for some questions, and I had some really good questions sent to me. Because, I feared getting up there and having 45 minutes to an hour. I think that went about 55 minutes. And I feared a silent room. It scared me to death. I didn't know how big the crowd would be. I didn't know how talkative everyone would be. I don't know. Never done this before. I don't know that an assembly of people quite like that had ever been assembled before. Where you had, sort of people in competition with each other, but yet we're all this little tight-knit community, so they're all friends. They all know each other. It was just an interesting group of people, but I was wanting to be really prepared, so I got all these great questions. I had a notepad with probably 25 different questions and or topics that I could jump to if needed. I believe I asked 3 questions. And it was pretty clear as soon as we started that it wasn't going to take much to get this group of folks talking and going. We discussed the idea from the design side and the art side and the rule set side of designing pinball games. Today, are we designing still for the operators like we used to, so they could put games out on route and make money? Or are we designing games for the home buyer, the person putting the game in the home? And it was interesting because you sort of got the company line from some of the Stern guys. They were saying, well, no, it's not even 50% of our games go to the home operator. So no, we're designing games for operators, the home buyer. And so we're definitely designing games for operators to put out on location to make money on. Whereas you had the boutique guys, Kevin and Ben and Charlie, sort of saying, no, yeah, we know that people are buying these for their homes more so, and that does play into deeper rule sets. So that was really interesting. That spurred on some really good stuff. I wanted to discuss, and we had a good conversation with lots of feedback from, how does the internet play into the way you design pinball machines? Because it's interesting, if you look at the folks that were on the panel that work for Stern, they kind of come from the old school, and like a John Papaduke, sort of the old school is, I'm not going to show you anything. I'm going to show you my game when it's done, and you'll either buy it or you won't. Whereas you have someone like, Ben Heck wants to show you every bit as he goes. And you have Skit B, who's been kind of showing it off for a couple of years now. And it was interesting, hearing the difference and the feedback. And some people want the feedback. Some people don't want the feedback and just want to design their game and show it to you. And then also we discussed, what's the importance of the layout of the game versus the art package of the game versus the rule set and the program for the game? What features of the game, since pinball is this really dynamic, multifaceted entertainment device where it's not just a flat screen where you watch a movie, it's not just a song that you listen to on headphones and hear the audio, it's not just a board game where you play this little game, this physical game. It's like all these things wrapped up into one. It's problem solving. It's physical. It's oral. You hear it. It's all these different things. What's important to you? And Steve Ritchie's answer stuck out because he said definitively the game has to shoot right. You have to get the game shooting right. The physics have to work. The geometry has to work. And I think that's how you get to be Steve Ritchie, the guy sort of known as the king of the flow games, where the games can flow and balls move smoothly and you have this really great feel. Well, then you hear John Papaduke, who's designed some just fantastic games over the years. He basically says, no, I start with the theme and the art package first. That is the most important thing. And if you just look at the approach, if you look at a game like Star Trek, Steve Ritchie designed, it's all about the shots. It's all about fast, and getting the ball here to here, and looping the ball here, and making the side shot, and hitting these shots. And the art package is, pretty sparse. Gameplay's great. It's fantastic. If you look at a game like, I don't know, Tales of the Arabian Nights, Theater of Magic, John Papaduke. Yeah, those had great art, because he was working at Williams at the time with great artists. But you can also see that, like he said, he goes, I draw the back glass art first. You can see that this guy is really concerned with tying a theme and building an emotional response with the theme and creating a universe inside that machine. If you look at what he's doing with Magic Girl or possibly Alice in Wonderland or this new Kiss game, it's all about the art and the theme and the vibe. More about the vibe to a guy like John Papaduke. So those two very different answers from big name, legendary pinball designers were cool because they were very different, and I liked it. And I thought that sort of theme of being different really played into what we saw with the debut of the Pinball Zombies from Beyond the Grave game from Spooky Pinball. And we talked about that on previous episodes, but sort of as I've gotten to really think about it, I played a lot. I played Pinball Zombies, and then I played Ben Heck's America's Most Haunted more than anything else I played at the show. And very different games. I mean, America's Most Haunted is sort of, the modified fan layout. It's reminiscent of a Attack from Mars meets Medieval Madness with, just some new ideas. Meets sort of like not fast like Tron, but sort of has some vibe like that. I mean, it's just really, it has that modern kind of, I don't want to just keep saying the same terms, but it's, it's a take on a modern fan layout for sure. And I really liked it. I really, really liked the game. I loved the game, in fact. I can't tell you how much I've been thinking about that game, because not only was the actual physical side of the game cool, I like the art. I think the art is very cool. I like where they ended up with the art, and I like the rule set. I like the games. I like the call-outs. When I try and soft plunge to hit one of the 3 different skill shots on the game, yes, 3, and I miss it a couple times, the game says to me, well, that's one way to extend your ball times, which is hilarious. That's really funny. Ben's humor really comes through that game, and I like it. I'm for it. That game felt like it's ready to go. And I am very much considering buying the game. Part of it's limited. There's only going to be so many of those games, despite, they're talking 100 that they're going to guarantee to run, maybe build more later. If I'm a betting man, there's not going to be more of those games than there are any of the recent Stern limited editions. So it's going to be a very limited boutique game that I really liked, that I like the theme and the art. So I may buy that game. And Pinball Zombies was sort of this other experience. It had been sort of built up because we hadn't seen much of it. We'd seen the back glass, so you start imagining something in your mind with this back glass. If we'd just heard the name Pinball Zombies and hadn't seen Alicia Crowley and hadn't seen sort of the vibe and the concept of the art already, maybe I would have had a different take. But when I first saw it, it was just so different than what I had pictured. And, I don't blame anybody but myself. I created an image of the game in my head, so I was sort of like taken aback, like, wow, it's way more open than I thought it would be. There's slingshots. There's 4 slingshots on the game, which is cool. It's awesome. The color scheme was just different than I thought. A lot of people on Pinside just seem to focus so dearly on the hand coming up between the flippers, which that didn't even strike me as bad or odd, or I was very indifferent about the hand. It was fine. It worked. I liked it all right. But the game has a different feel. It moves different. The ball moves differently around the playfield. It shoots differently. The shots are not where you expect them to be. And it's interesting. I can't judge the game yet. I can't really decide yet because the rules aren't there. And without the rules kind of, driving the game and steering you in the direction of how to play the game, who knows what that game's going to play like. But as far as the physics of it, it's really cool. And I think it's awesome that the 2 games Spooky Pinball are going to produce first are just very physically different games. I'm really glad you don't have 2 fan layouts or 2 Lawler-esque, scoop here and pop bumpers here, type busy playfields. I think Pinball Zombies has the potential to be really, really special with its sort of different vibe. I get the feeling that Charlie has taken some of the feedback and criticism on Pinside to heart, and he's going to probably make some changes at this point, and that's to be expected, I think. Ben did that certainly with America's Most Haunted, but I like where he's going with it, and I have high hopes. So it was really interesting, though, the kind of theme of different takes on things. And Charlie has a very different take on his game. And I think it's great that you don't look at that game and say, oh, it's just like Iron Man, or it's just like, Tron, or it's just like Metallic. And it's really not. It's very different. So that, to me, the spooky presentations at the show were the highlight for me, for sure. So now what I want to do is I got to meet the gentleman from DK Pinball. I had a great interview with them. If you don't know off the top of your head what DK Pinball does, this interview will kind of set the stage for it. They had 3 games set up in front of their booth. They had a fantastic Tales from the Crypt, which had some custom mods made possible by the products that they sell that we'll talk about in the interview. They had a Jurassic Park called Jurassic Park Evolved, which we didn't talk a lot about because we're treading lightly on subjects like that right now. And then they also had a Whirlwind? Boy, I'm blanking on it. I believe a Whirlwind with a shaker motor put into it and some other mods. And I think DK Pinball is sort of kind of at the front leading edge of helping people, get mods into their game and do it right and do it in a way that I think doesn't, destroy or damage games and really make some interesting stuff possible. And you'll hear Mike from DK Pinball and Chad, who did he actually did the software update for the Star Wars game, the Daddy Star Wars game that Stern endorsed a while back. So we'll talk about that here in this interview from the Midwest Gaming Classic on Coast to Coast Pinball. All right, we're here at the Midwest Gaming Classic in the DK Pinball booth with Mike and Chad. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing good.
Very good. Very good. So, Mike, tell me about what DK Pinball has currently brought to the Midwest Gaming Classic, what your future plans are, what's happening now, what you're promoting now, and the lay of the land as you see things.
Okay. Well, today we brought our Power Tap products, which allow you to tap into your game's power supply without having to cut any wires or anything like that. You just basically pull a connector off your power supply, put our Power Tap in, then plug into the Power Tap. That gives you 5 and 12 volts, which is good enough for most mods. Also, it's fused, so your mods don't blow up your game's power supply.
So this would be for the guy who, if he wants to add some sort of like creature monster with blinking eyes to his game, but doesn't want to just cut in wires, you could use your board to do that, and maybe other lighting as well.
Yeah. So under cabinet lighting and the flippers and the lit flipper buttons and the shooter rods or whatever allows you to connect all those things without having to cut into a game.
What so far is the feedback? What are people mainly buying for? What has been is it lighting? Is it mods? What are you seeing that people are buying and using your products for?
It's the most popular thing, because it's such a highly modded game, is Tron. So a lot of guys, it's almost. I have one product, it's a splitter board, it's called the FTS-8, and it's meant to, instead of having all your mods connected, splitter into another splitter into another splitter, it's just a board that consolidates it all. Yeah, there it is right there. But it goes in a lot of Trons because so many guys pack their Trons full of it. So a lot of people, it's funny, they seem to think that all my stuff are like Tron mods. And it's like, well, no, it's not Tron mods, it's for whenever you put a lot of stuff into a single machine.
Very cool.
The toppers is a big thing, right?
Oh, toppers, yeah, pinball toppers. Joe at Laserific, he uses my products. He throws them in with every topper because it makes it very simple to connect your lit toppers to a Stern pinball machine or Williams, pretty much the whole family Data East pinball machines.
So someone who's a monkey like me and not really good at working on machines could actually, light up a Creature from the Black Lagoon crazy mod if I needed to.
Yeah, that's really the point. It's to make it as easy as possible and without having to have any electronics knowledge. Also, some guys, it's important to them to be able to put a mod in the machine but make it reversible, so they can take it all out and sell it as original without it having been cut into or damaged in any way. I don't want to say damaged. I think the mods are cool and it makes the game worth more. But a lot of people may want reversible,
original factory type game.
Yeah.
And Chad, what's your role as far as programming and working with Mike on these products?
Mike is basically spec'd out exactly what he wants. Now we're switching over to the Pig 2 talk. What he wants for the Pig 2 to do, and I've done all the coding for it.
Describe the Pig as it was and as it's going to be.
Well, the Pig is basically it's a device you put into your pinball machine, which you have can control any mod with, whether it's LED lighting, servos even. There's 4 ins and 4 outs essentially. You can. A lot of times when you hook up a mod to a game, right, you want to trigger it off, let's say, an insert. Now, when your mod lights is going to light with the insert, with the Pig, you can now control that mod and tell it to maybe hold on even though the light's blinking. You can do fade ins, fade outs.
So you can reprogram what's going on up on the playfield
exactly.
And with the lighting.
Yep, it completely customize how your mod reacts to the game, essentially.
How did you get into this?
It all started a long time ago. Chad got his Tron pinball machine, and I made a Flynn sign mod to go into it because I thought the game was missing something. It was missing the big, iconic Flynn sign. So I figured out how to make that, and I started selling it on Pinside, and guys wanted to know if it would go on and off with the GI instead of always on. And I said, yeah, we could probably do that. And so I started creating a board that would just turn things on and off with GI. Then somebody asked, well, can I make it dim a little bit? And I'm like, yeah, I could probably do that. And requests kept coming in, and it just kind of turned into a monster where the original board just kind of turned things on and off, and it morphed into the Pig 2 now, which has all this intelligence and configurability to be able to control motors and servo motors and being able to pulse and flash and blink and do, basically use anything on the game as a trigger to make a mod do something else that's interesting.
If I were to buy a Pig 2, Chet, how would I actually go about doing that setup and programming of the system?
There is basically a text file. It's a config file. It's like an ini file that has all the variables. Okay, and you basically you plug in exactly. You basically change the numbers to exactly what you want it to be.
Is there a GUI? Is there a graphical user interface for this, or no? Is it all?
It's not a GUI. It's basically a text file with variables that you set.
I see. So you're actually working with the lines of text.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a micro SD card that's on the Pig. You pop that out and put it into your PC, and there's just a text file you'd open with a text editor like Notepad or something like that. There's a list of variables like max power, min power, fade in, fade out, repeats and flashes and things like that. It's about 10 or 15 variables per output.
Yeah, so if you wanted something to fade on, let's say over 5 seconds, you would give it a 5,000 millisecond setting, and now that when that turns on, it will fade on over 5 seconds. Or however long you want it to be.
So, Chad, a lot of people in the hobby know you as the guy who rewrote the rules for the Star Wars game.
That is correct.
Could you tell me a little bit about that, when that started, when that was completed, and how you actually got Stern's sort of blessing on that, and they ended up releasing the code?
Yeah, that was back in 2012. I got a day to East Star Wars and started playing it, and basically, there were some rules in the game that I thought, could be...
Cool game.
Yeah.
Flaws in the rule set.
Great game. Rules could use some improving. So I went in and basically disassembled, reverse engineered the code, made changes to the code, and basically I was posting about it on Pinside, and word got out, and I was contacted by Stern, and basically they contacted me, and they actually were kind of a little bit excited about the fact that this was happening ultimately after talking to them, and we basically worked it out where they came over to my house. Luckily, I'm in the Chicagoland area. Yep. So they came to my house, they checked out the game, great guys, and ultimately blessed the code and officially released it on their website.
Ideally, would you like to do some more of that?
I would love to do some more of that, ideally.
Okay, that's awesome. We're walking in circles around certain projects. What can we talk about as far as a couple of the games that are right here, Mike? I see we have a Data East Tales from the Crypt, one of my favorite games. What do you got going on this game right now?
Well, there we have we put a Crypt Keeper figurine on top of a servo, and it points at where the next shot needs to go to activate the next mode. So when you need to shoot at the scoop, he's pointing up the center, and then once you've made the scoop shot and you need to shoot one of the orbits, it'll point to which orbit you need to hit to light the creature feature again.
It's pretty cool. He swivels around and moves around.
Yep, and he's pointing at where it needs to shoot at again. We've got under cabinet lighting that's tied to the GI. There's also a scoop lamp in it that's pulsing, and we have a little kind of a monster in the back of the playfield, a skull, eyes that light up whenever the pop bumpers get hit. Once they stop popping, a couple seconds later, he kind of goes back to sleep and it fades away. Then we have a whirlwind that we put a shaker motor into, and the Pig is controlling the shaker motor. There's 6 pop bumpers in there, and every time you hit a pop bumper, you get a little jab from the shaker. And then whenever the lightning strikes and you hear that thunder rolling, you get a nice thunder rolling shake from the game as well.
Those both your games?
Chad's Whirlwind by Tales from the Crypt.
Very cool. So if someone's interested in picking up one of your boards, or at least finding out more about your boards, give me the website, give me the contact info.
They can go to dkpinball.com, and if they have questions, they can just click on the contact or email us link. There's also a wiki that under product documentation that explains how the Pig is programmed. There's or configured. I don't want to say programming because you're not programming. You're just changing some configuration variables to get to do what you want to do. And there are examples and samples up there as well. And I'm really open. Guys who want suggestions or are trying to get their config just right, they can email me directly and I'll help them out with it.
That's awesome. And Chad, I hope that you and I are talking soon about some other projects. ...
That would be great.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
All right, thanks.
those guys are great. I mean, super friendly. They were having a blast. They were sort of in a interesting spot in the Midwest Gaming Classics hotel, the Sheraton there. They weren't in the main arcade hall. They were rather outside it, sort of on the corner, so you just walked by their booth all the time. And the 3 games there were just fantastic. They looked great. They were set up great. They played really good. Made me want to Tales from the Crypt even more. I got to say, the spinning Crypt Keeper toy that was added on there that like followed the ball around was so cool. Really neat. So that was very cool to see. So check out DKPinball.com if you're interested in any of their products and seeing how they do what they do. So very cool. Some other highlights from the show. I didn't play tournaments. Kept saying I was going to play tournaments. The tournaments ended up being free. The Midwest Gaming Classic, I guess I can talk about this now because Dan has sort of posted on it on Pinside a little bit now. Ran into some issues with the state of Wisconsin not wanting them to run pinball tournaments where you had to pay to get in and then win a prize. I think they were equating that to gambling of sorts. So Dan made the proper call to not risk any sort of blow-ups with the man, so to speak, and they went for free tournaments, and they looked packed. And I saw some of the scores going up, and the scores were impressive. I did play the Clock Chaos. Didn't do so well. It was unfortunate. I think I talked about that a few episodes ago. Fun. I get to these shows, and I enjoy just playing random games and chatting with people more than I do sort of getting all on edge and hyped up and ready for the tournaments. And you can see that there's just a swath section of attendees who are there for the tournaments. They're hovering and looking and talking to each other about scores, and that's cool. It's a cool vibe. I kind of wish they integrated into the same room a little bit. I wish that room was just a little larger, that main arcade room. It's almost like I want to kick the arcade machines out, like push the arcade machines out in the hallways and do all the pinball stuff inside. More pinball vendors in with the games, tournaments in with the games. But that's just me. I'm a pinball guy. I did not play one video game, I don't think. Oh, I did. I played Q*bert once before I moderated the Q*bert forum, just because I figured I should. So, I got to play, Mystery Castle a bunch. I talked about that at least once. I've mentioned it. Very cool game. Awesome theme. Game's okay. It's not like a blowaway game, like I need to own this game or anything. Very cool. Very, very nice theme. I played Fantastic Sorcerer. Probably the nicest Sorcerer I have ever played. A lot of fun. Really liked that. There were some interesting EM games I had not played before. OXO is not a game I was familiar with at all. Played that a little bit. Liked it a lot. Spent some time on X-Men, because they had an X-Men with the updated code, and I was, giving it another whirl, and I was hard on X-Men last year, I think, because I wasn't very good at it. That game's one of those games with a big toy down in front, Wolverine's in your face, and I've never been very good at that game, but I had some great games on X-Men, and really, really enjoyed it. And I've had a bunch of emails lately on Wizard of Oz, people asking me what I think about Code 3.0, and I've played 3.0 at a couple different places, and it certainly fleshes the game out. I gotta tell you, I couldn't get near the Wizard of Oz machines at the Midwest Gaming Classic. The spooky games and the Wizard of Oz games were just packed the entire time. Couldn't get near them. So I tried. I did want to play them, but that was definitely a hit for those that were there. I think people bought them there too. I'm not totally clear if it was a distributor who had the games there or not. I believe that's what it was a local distributor had games there, and I believe they sold a few off of those games on the floor. So that was very cool. Quick little note on the website, on coastcoastpinball.com. I have added a videos page. It's really the first major page update of any sort that I've done to the site. I did that while I had some free time the last 24 hours, as my normally perfect and flaw-free podcast hosting site, podcastgarden.com, they had about a 24-hour technical glitch, maybe it was roughly that long, right when I was trying to get this episode out. So I was pulling my hair out. I felt disconnected, like I couldn't get it out. But I had complete faith. They run a great site over there, and they've been almost too good to be true, quite honestly, because they offer a great service for free, dare I say. So if you need to host your podcast, go check out Podcast Garden. They've been great to me so far. But anyway, so I took the time, and I've been working on videos for Coast to Coast Pinball. I've been trying to take some video at the shows of games, especially new games that people haven't ever seen before, like the Multimorphic Lexi Lightspeed, like the Spooky Pinball releases, like the Kiss concept game that Mr. Papaduke brought to the game. Take a video and then kind of overdub with interview footage, audio interviews that I've taken either at the same time or at different spots. So I've added some videos. There's going to be more to come. I kind of want to upgrade the camera I'm using. Some of the videos are done with an iPhone, which have pretty good cameras. Some were done with a handheld HD camera I had. I don't love the quality of either. Kind of looking at that, but these are really just me testing out the abilities of what I can do, learning as I go. But I hope you enjoy the videos. That Kiss video went over 2,000 views in like just a few days. Pretty amazing. So the Kiss fans must have been searching YouTube for all things Kiss and seen that and jumped on it. So we're going to wrap this show up with one more interview to wrap up the Midwest Gaming Classic. I had the pleasure and the honor of sitting down and chatting with the Pin Game Journal's founder, owner, man who does it all, Jim Shelberg. We had a great time chatting about going to shows. His travel schedule as far as going to pinball shows puts mine to shame. He gave me his awesome T-shirt that says "Damn it, Jim." It's sort of a joke on the "I'm a doctor" thing. I owe him a shirt. Got to get Jim a long sleeve shirt. So let's listen to me talking with Mr. Shelberg here before we close out Coast to Coast Pinball here. We are here at the Midwest Gaming Classic, joined by the incomparable Jim Shelberg of the Pin Game Journal. And I was talking to you yesterday, and I think I travel a lot, and I go to a lot of shows now and do this. But your travel schedule's crazy. You've been to a lot of shows this year.
Yeah, actually, this year more than ever. And part of it is the a good sense of the show organizers to actually make shows on different weekends.
Yeah, unfortunately, there have been some doubled up, but give me a little rundown of where you've been the last few weeks.
I had to go. Originally, I was going to be in California meeting my friend Gary Flower, flying in from England. I'm flying from Detroit in California to visit a number of pinball people. But I had to make a detour. I had to go to Florida to take care of a family matter, so I was there for 3 days. So I flew from Florida all the way over to San Diego, and we spent a week or two visiting some very interesting people, pinball related, and staying with some friends who were very kind enough to put us
You
up.
could have come and said, hello, the Coast to Coast Pinball Studios are in San Diego, California. That's where we are.
It wasn't on the trolley tour.
No, we're a little north of the trolley, unfortunately.
So it was, if it was in Balboa Park, I would have known. But what can I say?
So I saw you in Texas. I know you were in Texas.
So we went from there to Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
To the industry show, the Coin-Op Industry Show, which I've been attending every, for 21 years. And just as an aside, it's as it often is, it's not just that show. Right next to it is the International Pizza Expo.
Oh,
which
wow.
you're talking...
That's dangerous.
Major... I can't explain how big it is. And every dough manufacturer and sauce manufacturer, they all want you to try their pizzas.
I bet they do.
Made with their product. General Mills is there. We're not talking, small. And then next to that, often was the bar and nightclub show.
Oh, wow. You're hitting all the hot things right there.
Exactly. And I unfortunately don't drink, but every manufacturer of vodka and whatever want you to try all of their various types.
That could be dangerous for some people.
More dangerous is often the girls that are manning the booth have their tops painted on.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Well, maybe not dangerous, but... So,
you mean fantastic,
there you go.
Right? Is that what you meant?
And Stern actually, and Jack really had games in that show, too.
Of course they did.
So, hello. So, and then we went to Texas, and then we went to the Michigan show.
How was the Michigan show? I have not had reports back on Michigan. How was that?
It was a nice little show. They have constraints with the room, but Cause has been putting this together now for, I think this is the 5th one, and it's at a university, Oakland University Student Center, which is, you would think that's good, and it is. And there's just not that much room. But there was many games, a whole area of wood rails and older games. Maybe 100 of them, and then the newer games. There's a big Marco exhibit in there, like at Pinball Expo. I mean, the whole thing. And in fact, there were 2 Mustang games there, and of course the artist for Mustang is from Detroit. And I texted him and invited him to come to the show to see his games on Sunday. And luckily, he was out of town because I walked in on Sunday morning and they had sold.
Oh, he wouldn't have gotten to see them.
Right. So, it's a well-run, nice show. Games are fixed and they work, and it's good.
And now you're here at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
And we unfortunately had to skip the Colorado show, which is same weekend as this.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to fix that next year.
So, right, now we're here at Midwest.
How many years for you at Midwest?
I was home. That's home for a week, and then I came here. So, I don't know, 5-6 years.
5-6 years.
When I started here, there were 3 pinball machines.
Wow.
It was a gamer show.
It was a console gaming
show. And a lot of pinball people are in the area, so slowly they've been encroaching, and to kind of show the gamers.
We're spreading like a virus, aren't
exactly.
we? Yeah.
And it's pretty much, it's got to be half. And this show's unbelievable in that this is a large hotel. And the show pretty much occupies, other than the rooms, the guest
and some
rooms.
of the rooms too. I have seen rooms crammed full of
the
games.
whole hotel, including the hallways.
Yes,
like we're out in the hall right now.
We're in the hallway right now with your booth here.
Right. And there's a whole second floor, basement, that has room after room after room after room.
Can you explain to me?
Go
ahead.
And the tent. There's a massive
it's like
tent
15,000 square feet out there.
That. And still everything in here is full. So, oh my God. What?
Can you explain to me the ears on everybody's heads?
I do not know.
I don't know either. I'm sort of lost with that.
I'm sure it has something to do with a video game character.
Oh, see, I was thinking drugs.
It could be drugs.
I'm just kidding.
But I don't have ears or those drugs, so maybe after we can go find them.
Probably not my scene. So,
all right, I'll have to say, probably not my scene
Probably
either.
not your scene either, yes. So both of us are teetotalers.
There you go.
That's all right.
That's
so in my office...
I didn't inhale.
I believe you.
There you go.
In my office at home at the Coast2Coast Pinball Studios.
In San Diego.
In San Diego, California. Above my desk where we record the podcast normally, I have your 2014 Pin Game Journal calendar.
Okay.
And this year your the theme was, why don't you tell us about it?
The theme was unusual, one-off, low production, hand-drawn art games. I got that idea at Pinball Expo. I was collecting unusual games, but production games to go in the months, and there was so much at Pinball Expo of that type that I said, let me do it because it's cool. It's part of the resurgence of pinball that all these people are making their own games. I mean, you couldn't do it 20 years ago. You didn't have Photoshop. You didn't have all the electronic stuff, and a lot of it was based on the P-Rock board.
Yeah.
And that wasn't obviously available. So now it's just becoming so easy to do that it's cool that people are doing it, and way more than what even 12 I have in the calendar. So that's why, and the art was looking pretty good.
Looks great. I think it's cool. I think it's an awesome theme.
So I think the Predator was not hand-drawn art, and but it was just too cool. It was awesome.
Very cool.
Awesome.
And they have hand-drawn art on the playfield.
Yeah.
So when might we see the next issue of the Pin Game Journal? Do you
have
any sort of
you had to
time
ask
frame?
that, huh?
Oh boy, that's a touchy question.
Well, no, I mean, no. There are many people that help me amazingly. However, you're pretty much talking to the staff of the Pin Game
You're
Journal.
the man.
And I don't want to say it like I'm the man, but I'm it.
Yeah.
There was a commercial in Detroit about, I even forget what, but the guy said, I'm one guy with 2 trucks. You know, so it will be out, but I right now can't tell you when. I want to do it. I'm taking pictures to do it. I have stories to do it. Tim Arnold calls me the Pin Game Journal. I'm sorry, the Pin Game Gerbil.
Gerbil.
And I have my gerbil pouch where I keep all these stories and never print them. So
How many years have you been doing Pin Game Journal now?
May of 1991, which would say
so
21?
23 years.
Wow.
23 years next month. That's amazing.
But if you add it, you can come up with a average if it's that many years. But I'm on issue 153, so
About
it's
4
what,
per
6?
year?
Is it 4?
About 4 per year.
Yeah, this year really killed the
Five
killed the
per
average.
year.
It was about 7 to 8,
Yeah.
and this year killed it. The last year and a half. So I'm again. There was a time 10 years ago I was sick in the hospital and skipped some issues there, and I came back, and I've been having a lot of issues lately, and I'm working on them without getting into detail. If you want detail, I'm ready, but
We wish you the best with all of that stuff.
Thank you.
That's the main thing.
Well,
you were telling me.
Well, and the cool thing about coming to this show, or any show, and please, if you see me, take this to heart, is having people come up and say they don't care when it comes, that they really like it, that they appreciate anything that's pinball, and especially the stories and the way I do things in the magazine, and that really helps, because kind of isolated here. I get the email and whatever, but most of them are where's the magazine and this and that. Not angry. Rarely people are angry, but I feel bad that it's been as long as it has.
I'm sure it's a labor of love for you.
Yeah.
You do it because you love it. It's why I do the podcast.
Exactly. I mean, and you like doing it, I presume.
Absolutely.
You like editing a little bit. You like when you can put out your finished product.
And I like meeting the people. It's all about the people.
There are just that's it. I mean, that's a big part of it. So
you were telling me earlier before we went on the record here about Mustang and how you helped contribute a little bit to some of the sounds we're going to hear when we play Stern's Mustang pinball.
And the visuals.
And the visuals.
Which I've been trying to tell everybody that passes.
I heard that your 99 Cobra is on the playfield.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
It started as a joke. I was in my phone talking to George Gomez, and just jokingly, I'm in my car, and I said, I got a Mustang. Put that on the game. And he said right back, well, hey, send me a picture. So I stopped in my car. I got out with my cell phone and took 20 pictures, and he texted back, no. It's got to be like a official picture. So it took a while. We worked out different angles. I had to go up on my neighbor's. Neighbor has a studio above her garage, and so I parked the car in her garage. It was about 2 degrees below zero, and I'm out there waxing my car. So people, my neighbor, right, neighborhood. So people are driving by, thinking, I don't know what they were thinking,
Jim's lost his mind.
Exactly. So I took that picture. John Yowsey made it, and it's up there in the upper right loop of on the playfield.
So that means you got to buy a Mustang pinball machine, doesn't it?
That means I want to buy.
You want to buy it. Have
Yeah.
you played the game?
Oh yeah.
You like it?
Yeah. I haven't played it. I mean, it's in process now.
Yeah.
But it's good. I played it at the industry show. I played it in the Michigan show. I played it here a little bit, and it's looking pretty good. Especially that upper right hand.
That upper right hand. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
That's a nice car up there.
Yeah. Then surprisingly, I find out that Ford Motor Company, at least as far as we know, does not have stock sounds of shifting. they have sounds of peeling off, of donuts and screeching, but they don't have 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And David Thiel, the sound director, knows I have that car, and he asked if I would mind recording the sound. So late one night, I went out, and I will say, since it's already passed, I was on like a 2-lane divided highway, not a highway, a street. For those in Chicago, it's like Michigan Avenue. It was Telegraph for those who are hearing it in Detroit area, and very dark, 2 a.m, and I was up to about 130.
Driving really fast, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if it would cut it when I'm stopped, but officer, you don't understand. I'm recording sound for a pinball machine.
It's very important.
Somehow he might not have seen that.
Oh man, you've got to get this game now.
I know.
Your game's all over it.
So I think it's in the match sequence. And Tanyo last night was telling me it's in a few other areas, but it's going to be added more and more as they fill
out the code. Excellent.
Exactly. So I'm like, oh my God,
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah.
Have you had a good show?
Yeah, actually it is. This is a great spot.
Yeah, you're sort of in the center of it all.
This show has, video and gaming, and it's fairly separated. And gaming is kind of down one way, and pinball is sort of down the other way. And people have to pass right by this big turn to go either way. So everybody kind of passes by here one way or the other. So yes, it's a great spot.
Now, is this your T-shirt that I'm looking at?
It is.
The Damn It Jim shirt?
Well, my name is Jim.
Your name is Jim.
And
I'm pretty jealous of this shirt, I've got to say. I sell a lot of shirts for my podcast, but I like your shirt better than my shirt.
Thank you. We can arrange something. We can arrange a trade or something.
I like it. I've seen it on lots of people. So
and I like
popular.
long sleeve shirts, so I made it long sleeve. And, it sort of all goes together. Like in the plastic, Stern and Williams before then are very kind to almost every game make a plastic for the Pin Game Journal in the plastic sheet, so that it really doesn't cost them anything, right? Because it's printed all together, and we come up with a slogan. Like Metallica was Pin Game Journal covering the metal in pinball, and Rolling Stones was Pin Game Journal as a gas. So we're trying to come up with something like, damn it, Jim, I am a doctor, or something. So you know what? We just went with damn it, Jim.
I like it.
That's the plastic. Just says damn it, Jim. And if you don't know, you don't know. And if you know, you know. I'm showing this to the microphone, but
the microphone's got it. That's good.
Cool. Okay.
Well, we post photos. That's awesome.
Okay. So, that's fun for me.
I got to say, it's been a pleasure to finally meet you in person, sit down and chat with you a little bit.
You too. Thank you.
And I look forward to doing it again, where I'm sure we're going to cross paths at another show down the road.
Oh, I got stories, boy.
Oh, boy.
Woo! Look out.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim.
No problem, sir.
Jim Shelberg, total class act. That was a lot of fun. You can tell that this is someone who is truly out there spending his own money, using his own time, dedicating a lot of resources to this hobby because he loves it. And that's what it's all about. I had a lot of fun. The Midwest Gaming Classic was fantastic. Great people, which is always, I think, the number one thing you're looking for. Great games. The weather was awful. I hope Dan doesn't let that get him down too much. They're out of space. I mean, that's the thing. They could have had just a pinball convention, and it would have been packed. But they're literally out of space. I hope they find bigger space. I hope they keep going, keep doing the show. It'd be a real disappointment for the show not to keep happening. So, nothing but positive vibes coming from me. A look forward in Coast to Coast Pinball World. I need to answer some emails. We're going to do that soon. Yes, you can buy t-shirts again. I have the light gray shirts with the dark blue writing on them. Got lots of those in different sizes. I have a very, very limited number left of the midnight dark blue shirts, and then the dark gray with black writing on them. If you want either of those, shoot me an email. Let me know what you're looking for. I'll tell you if I have it. $15, PayPal to me, coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. Ship it anywhere in the lower 48. If you're outside the lower 48, email me at coast2coastpinball@gmail.com, and we'll figure it out. So, sending some shirts out tomorrow. We have that. Where we're going next, more episodes. We've got games to talk about. We've got news to talk about that I'm not going to be able to get to on this episode. I have confirmed my schedule to go to the Northwest Pinball Festival. I say that sort of slowly, as I hope that's the exact name of the show. This is the show. I think it's not festival. I think it's the Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show. There, that will be held in June at the Tacoma Convention Center in Tacoma, Washington, just outside Seattle. So I'll be there on Saturday, starting later in the day. I think I get into Seattle about 1 or 2 o'clock. So Saturday evening, I know that they have Mark Ritchie, Pat McMahon are going to be there. Steve Ritchie, David Thiel will be there. Tons of games. That's going to be a fun show. I've heard nothing but good things about that. Headed there, and now I am 90% sure about California Extreme. I'm hopefully going to get Teresa out to that show. That's the goal, and I might be, if I can make it work with my job and my schedule. I think I'm driving to that show, and I am trying to bring a game with me. A game that has not been seen in California before, at least not in its current state. So that's the goal. We're working on that. So more on that later, but Northwest Pinball Show, California Extreme, and I have a ticket that I bought from a Kickstarter to go to the Southern Fried Game Room Expo. That one has been tricky for me to schedule. I want to go support the Game Room Junkies guys at their first pinball and arcade game room show and exposition in Atlanta. I just got to figure that out. If only for half a day, I would like to go. So I'm working on that. It's a busy summer, a lot going on, lots of stuff going on in pinball. Rumors of the next Stern game are all over the place. I'll just tell you this. John Borg has said to some people it's the best game he thinks he's ever designed. So that'll be awesome. Until next time, I hope you play some pinball. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you again really soon.